hit the face, or just it's on, you give the invocation. Good morning. I hear there's a party later, but we have business first. I call the June 25th, 2024 meeting of the DuPage County Board to order, and I invite everyone to stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. Member Galassi, will you please lead the pledge? Okay, I now invite Tony Joseveski of the Macedonian Orthodox Church of Wheaton to lead us in the invocation.
Brother and sister, ladies and gentlemen, the public servant of DuPage County. I am very happy and honored and privileged to be here with you and give you some meditation and spiritual insight. I will start my meditation with the short story of Jesus Christ. He came over here. He did his mission. He spread his religion and give us example what should we do. He gathered his apostle and say to them, I'm gonna make you the leader, the governor of the earth. And they were very, very happy because they're gonna do something that nobody can. But then he gave them an example. Example was, he took the towel, he took the vessel with the water and washed their legs. That you are doing. Washing the legs of the people who are living here in the DuPage County. You're doing your best. I know that you're not appreciated as you should be, but God working mysterious way. It's like a stewardship. We are doing something that only can God bless us, nobody else. And that's here today. I give you my blessing through the blessing of the God. May God bless you, keep you safe, give us strength to accept things as they are, continue to your job, serving people, and do your best to DuPage County to be happy and beautiful place. Thank you very much. God bless you. Keep going with your good work. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Deputy Clerk, please take the roll.
Cahill. Here. Chaplin.
Here.
Childress. Yes. Covert.
Here.
Desart. Eckhoff. Here. Evans. Galassi. Here. Garcia. Here. Guston. Here. Krajewski. Here. LaPlante. Here. Hozog. Here. Rutledge. Here. Schwarzy. Here. Tornatori. Here. You.
Here.
And Zay.
Okay. Today we have a very special proclamation in honor of Cheryl Marquet. I'd like to invite Cheryl, Jim Healy, Joe McCoy, and Matt Prochaska from ISACO to the podium. Sorry, Matt. Not the first time I've made goulash out of Matt's last name. Okay, thank you. Think about what you were doing 40 years ago. Our Chief Policy and Program Officer, Cheryl Marquet, was doing then exactly what she's doing today, trying to change people's lives for the better through government policies and programs that will serve them. Cheryl began her career in 1982 in Springfield, working for the Illinois legislature, and now, more than 2 decades after bringing her talents here to DuPage County government, Cheryl is ready to retire, regardless if I am. When you walk into Cheryl's office, you are greeted by a bright smile. She's kind, she's friendly, she makes the difficult easy to understand. She's a tough cookie with the softest heart you'll ever meet. She's very detail-orientated, and mostly, she's somebody you definitely want on your team. We will miss you on the county team, but now, Cheryl, you can be a full-time captain of Team Marquet. Cheryl's family, husband Dale, and daughters Melanie and Melissa have joined us today to make absolutely sure we don't talk her into staying longer. You guys don't know me that well. Allow me to read this proclamation in honor of Cheryl Marquet, and then I'll throw it over to Joe McCoy and the group here representing ISACO. Whereas Cheryl Marquet has devoted her professional life, more than 40 years, to public service. And whereas Cheryl Marquet began her career in state government in Springfield from 1982 to 2003, taking a brief hiatus from 1988 to 1991 to work for the Minnesota House of Representatives. And whereas Cheryl Marquet worked for former Minority Leader and House Speaker Lee Daniels as his district office director, playing a key role in several legislative accomplishments, including 1992's anti-stalking legislation, which made Illinois the second state in the nation to adopt such a law. And whereas Cheryl Marquet joined DuPage County in 2003, working as government affairs manager, protecting the county's interests in Springfield, and developing positive relationships with other local governments across the county and region. Whereas Cheryl Marquet's many accomplishments include being part of a team that successfully negotiated and sustainable revenue source for the county, including RTA sales tax and the authority for internet sales tax. That was a big one, folks. And local cannabis tax, establishing an enhanced Medicaid rate for county nursing homes, including the DuPage County Care Center, creating and staffing the county's legislative and intergovernmental committees, leading government consolidation efforts, and working to secure state and federal dollars for county capital projects. And whereas Cheryl Marquet has been a steady presence in county government, serving 3 county board chairs and more than 60 county board members during her tenure. Whereas Cheryl Marquet is first and foremost devoted to her family, as a proud mother of 2 daughters, Melanie and Melissa, and the loving wife of Dale. And whereas Cheryl Marquet will retire from DuPage County in July 2024, following a long and dedicated career in the public sector, and should be congratulated for consistently demonstrating exceptional judgment, professionalism, dedication to the community, and an incredible work ethic. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Deborah A. Conroy, Chair of the DuPage County Board, and members of the County Board, do hereby commend Cheryl Marquet for 42 years of exemplary public service, extend our sincere appreciation for her many contributions to DuPage County and the region, and wish her well in her retirement. Have a motion? Second? All in favor? Enacted this 25th day of June 2024 in Wheaton, Illinois.
Wow, haven't broken up yet. It's been a long time with Cheryl. My name's Jim Healy. I was a county board member for 20 plus years here in DuPage, and I continue to be involved with NACO and ISACO. Dear Cheryl, and that's what you are a dear friend. When you announced your retirement, I wasn't sure how DuPage County would function without you, but true to form, you have already made sure that the county is in a position to continue to prosper and flourish when you are gone. Over these many years, you have left an indelible mark on everything that has happened in this county, and you should be very proud of your work. The list of your accomplishments is endless. You heard just a very few of them in the proclamation that was just read. You helped this county accomplish so much on so many issues, and you made it look so easy, and you made it look like the chairs and the county board members actually did it. No one will ever know the issues you worked on. I will simply say that to today, there are only about a dozen people in the entire state of Illinois that have even a clue about traffic ticket fines and their impact on county government. Remember that nightmare? Yep. And what work she did on that issue, not only for DuPage County, but for every single county in the state of Illinois, because at that time we didn't have a state association. But ISACO became a reality after that. And when there were questions in Springfield about how counties would be affected by a bill, and before ISACO came into thing, legislators from both sides of the aisle would turn to you, not other chairs, no offense, Madam Chair, or to county board members, again, no offense, but to Cheryl. In fact, there is even a tape made during a floor debate in a vote in Springfield when a legislative leader, and I don't remember if it was the House or the Senate, was said from the podium, will somebody please call Cheryl and find out what's going on? And rightly so. For so many years, you were the voice of not only DuPage County, but all counties in Illinois. You were that voice also in our heads. When the board was divided, which it was many times, you worked to bring us together. When the board was uncertain how to move forward, you showed us our options. And when new members came on the board, you gently counseled us on what a board member does and what is and is not county business. And if you have not had that conversation with Cheryl, she never felt comfortable with you because she needs to tell you that's not county business. So the most memorable day in my years with Cheryl was when I knew that she had felt comfortable with me, because she turned to me on an issue and said, Jim, you're wrong. You're 100% wrong. You're totally wrong. Yeah. And I knew at that moment that Cheryl was now totally comfortable with me. And that's the relationship you want with your staff, because the staff are the ones who are going to guide you. And if they can't speak honestly and openly with you, you're never going to get their insight. And let me tell you, as smart as we are on many issues as county board members, they're smarter in their individual fields, and you really need to look to them for that. So over the years, you have been driving the legislative bus in DuPage County. And for many of those years, the bus driver for all of Illinois counties. You artfully drove that bus down a county road that the Creator made for us, with a little help, of course, from you and your ability to get money out of Springfield and Washington. You helped us decide what route to take, making sure our passengers were safe and cared for. That bus is finally getting a new driver, and we can only hope they will take the steering wheel and help guide this county with the honesty, integrity, and love that you have shown to us in this county for so many years. Since you announced your retirement, many tributes and accolades have rightly been bestowed upon you. Those tributes you are receiving today and others are more than just mere words, more than just something you say to someone retiring, but it's a ratification, Cheryl, of what your life had meaning. And your accomplishments will live on in DuPage County and the 1 million citizens of this county. You did all this and so much more. God bless you, Cheryl, and thank you for being my friend and helping us. And now Joe McCoy from the ISACO would like to say a few words.
Good morning, and what an honor to be here with Cheryl and all of you this morning on this great day to honor her career and everything she's done for DuPage County and, quite frankly, counties throughout our great state. I wanted to tell a brief story about how Cheryl first came on my radar. So I had the good fortune of being selected to become ISACO's first executive director. My first decision was to choose between one of three offices that had been pre-selected. Toured them, chose one, moved in. Of course, we're new. We don't have any furniture, so I brought in an old high school desk I had. I brought in my home computer, and I'm kind of sitting sadly in the corner of this big office by myself at the desk and the computer and my cell phone. And I get a call from Jim Healy. Well, how are things going? Are you all moved in? Yes. Well, the furniture should arrive next week. Great. He said, well, what are you working on? I said, well, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. You need to call Cheryl Markey now. I said, well, who's Cheryl Markey? Oh, Cheryl Markey, she's works in administration with DuPage County. She used to work for the General Assembly. She knows everything. She's the one that the legislators and everybody would come to if they had a question about county business. So I called Cheryl, and a relationship developed, and Cheryl became my go-to person because I came from the municipal world, and a lot of the issues are transferable, but they're not all transferable. So I needed a primer on county government right from the jump. And Cheryl was the person I would go to. I probably sometimes wore out my welcome with my frequent calls and emails, but she was always so gracious and helpful. And the great thing about Cheryl is she would compliment you if you were doing something correctly, but if she kind of thought you might be getting a little wayward, she'd let you know that too in a very diplomatic way. And that's even more appreciated than sometimes the positive things you hear, because you need to hear from people who have experience. And so she made me better at my job. And I know that she was working with predecessor associations to ISACO for many years, and I'm sure she left an indelible imprint on state policy through those organizations. And so Cheryl, I'll wrap it up by saying this. Cheryl, on behalf of the Illinois State Association of Counties, Board of Directors, staff, and counties throughout the state, a grateful county association thanks you for everything you've done for all of us. And with that, I would like to introduce ISACO President Matt Prochaska.
Thank you very much. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Matthew Prochaska. I am the president of ISACO and the circuit clerk of Kendall County. Prior to becoming circuit clerk, I had spent numerous years on the Kendall County board. And I was there when ISACO was founded. And one of the things when we started developing our first legislative agenda for the Illinois State Association of Counties, it was strongly suggested by Mr. Healy that we pre-screen our agenda through Cheryl. And that became an annual tradition. When we put our agenda together, we would send it to Cheryl. And Cheryl would come back with comments, suggestions, things to help make the agenda better, different ways to phrase something to help make it go through Springfield. And we have had some great successes leaning on some of the resources you have here. My county administrator, my previous one, has always said as well that if he needed any questions, particularly on legislation, he would reach out to Cheryl. DuPage County has an excellent resource in her, and she has been not only something that DuPage can be proud of, but counties across the state of Illinois can be proud of, which is why the Illinois State Association of Counties wanted to give this plaque of recognition to Cheryl Marquet.
This is very overwhelming. Thank you so much. What a nice surprise. Thank you for being here. This is probably the best Tuesday I've had. We've had a lot of them. Just from a staff perspective, it's like, oh God, it's Tuesday. They're gonna all be here. We love you all. It's just our busiest day, right? Love you all. Thank you so much. I never dreamed when I walked in the door in February of 2003, I'd spend a third of my life in this building. It's wow. And half my career. But it's been wonderful. I'm so appreciative, and I see Dan Wagner over there, and he's the reason I'm here. Way back in 2003, I knew Bob Schillerstrom, the former county chair. I didn't know him that well. So he took a risk on hiring me. There was no legislative committee. There was no intergovernmental committee. They just said, we need someone to maybe organize our lobbyists. We're not really sure what to do. And Dan and I had worked at the state together. If you know him, he doesn't take no for an answer. So he insisted that Bob hire me. So he did, and thank you so much. It was wonderful. And then fast forward 8 years, when Chairman Cronin was elected, it was actually kind of funny at the time, and Jim Healy remembers, the county board, because Dan was from the outside, he wasn't a sitting county board member like Chairman Schillerstrom was, they said, he's gonna get rid of you and Tom Cookledge. I'm like, no, he's not. I've known him, he's not gonna get rid of us. They were so convinced he was gonna get rid of Tom and I, they changed the county board rules 2 weeks before Dan took office to remove the chairman's authority to hire and fire staff. And the funny part was, years later, he promoted Tom to county administrator and me to deputy county administrator. So it worked out. So thank you, Chairman Cronin. And then 1.5 years later, go back 1.5 years ago, Chair Conroy was elected, and I have to tell you, as a woman in Springfield in the 80s who broke a few glass ceilings down there, working for the first county board female chair has been an honor. So thank you. And let me move the Kleenex. You said Kleenex here. You are a visionary leader. You are a collaborative leader and such a bipartisan leader. And we really needed that. And I'm just so appreciative that you kept me on. Because I truly do love my job. And I love being their mom more, I have to say. But I do love my job. And I have so many people to thank. The two previous chairmen, Chair Conroy, the county board members, you guys have been great because you've always had the faith and confidence in me to do a really tough job. And some days are really tough, and especially back in the day with some of the issues we talked about, I had to make a decision, you know, whether it was 10 o'clock at night on your behalf, and you always trusted my judgment, and I'm really grateful for that. And I've enjoyed working with all of you. The county is blessed to have had so many wonderful elected officials. The senior staff, I love you guys, thank you. You were always there for me. Hey, what does this bill do? Does it impact your operations? And you always would get back to me. Sarah Hahn would fill out those dreaded earmark applications for me. Thank you. I know they weren't easy, but that's how we get money. It's not me. I'm just the coordinator. I'm just the quarterback. And the senior staff is so professional and so hardworking, which you guys all know. But you know, we're here 365 days a year. We're here every day, and they are all working on your behalf. To the county board staff, Jason, Rose. Joan practiced my speech in here with me, and she was crying. And I'm like, okay, this is not going to work. Jason, Rose, Heidi, thank you so much. We've spent so much time together. Evan, Amy, we've celebrated holidays together and birthdays. And this year's been hard because I've lost my brother-in-law and my father-in-law. And Heidi's always there with a hug and a kind word, and Rose, and a plant, which I think I killed already. I'm really sorry. But, you know, they're family because you spend so much time together. And to Nick and Joan, you two are the hardest working people I have ever met in my entire life. You literally work 24/7. I would turn my phone off at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. I turn it on the next morning. Did you see this? Did you? Oh, no, I was asleep. No, I didn't see it. Sorry. And I couldn't ask for two better colleagues. And we talk about it all the time, how I don't know how we survived COVID. 2020 was probably the worst year of my life. I didn't see my daughter for 11 months. She was in California, but on top of that, you know, the care center would call. We can't get PPE. We need 3 shifts. What do we do? You know, we can't deliver meals to seniors every day. The health department trying to do contact tracing every day was such an overwhelming challenge, and we didn't have a playbook, and we didn't know what to do. And sometimes it was the 3 of us in this building, and no one else was in this building. It was scary. And we didn't always agree how to approach an issue, but I think our strength was in the diversity of our perspectives, and we would work it through and be able to give the chair and the county board more solid policy recommendations. And so I'm so grateful for both of you. I'm going to miss your daily calls. You have to call me once in a while. Tell me about your latest crisis, what's going on. But I love you both. And my family, thank you. When I started, my kids were 9 and 5, no laptops, no Zoom, no work from home was just not an option. And my husband would pick up the kids from daycare and school and make dinner and do all that fun stuff. And it was funny because when I worked for the legislature, I was going to Springfield a lot, and the daycare would say, "We knew you were out of town because what the children were wearing today was really, you wouldn't have picked that outfit out." Like, because I drop them off, and then I'd pick them up the next night. It's like, wow, why are you wearing polka dots and stripes? Daddy said it was great. But thank you, honey, for always being there. And my daughters flew in last night to surprise me. So from California, they both live in California. They are just two of the most incredible young women you'd ever want to meet. I'm so proud of them. And now that I'm retired, we can take more girl trips. I'm really excited about that. I can come see you more. And it's going to be great. So I'm blessed. I'm so appreciative of all this recognition. I hope you all have a great summer. Please take a summer vacation. Learn that work-life balance I've been striving for that I'm going to get now. And thank you so much for everything. Did we get one with you?
Okay. Before I start, I just want to make a brief comment so that it's on the record. And I want all of you to know that when I first took this office, I was like a deer in headlights. Whenever I think of Cheryl Marquet, I will think of the word grateful. I will forever be grateful that not only did she stay, but she believed in me. And because of that, I believe this board has been as successful as it is. So I'll forever be grateful for that. Before I begin public comment today, I'm asked to remind staff and the board that we will be honoring Cheryl with an informal reception, big party, room 3500B after this county board meeting. On the matter of public comment, according to our county board rules, members of the public shall be afforded time to address the board. Individual remarks shall not exceed 3 minutes in length, nor shall the total time provided for all remarks exceed 30 minutes. Our state's attorney will call the names of those who have signed up to speak.
Carolyn Raber.
Good morning. Boy, Cheryl is a tough act to follow. My name is Carolyn Raber. I am very honored to speak before you in support of the Glen Ellen Wheaton Chorale. We are a 65-voice volunteer auditioned chorale. We have a rich history in the community. We will be starting our 40th year. We serve the musical needs of the community by presenting 2 concert seasons a year, plus we visit the local retirement homes and lawn care facilities and share our music with them. We also collaborate with other local arts organizations such as the Glen Ellen the Glen Ellen Children's Chorus. In the past several years, we've been bumped around to various locations for our rehearsals and concerts. 2 Wheaton churches in the last 2 years have terminated our rental agreements. We've encountered many churches who are restricting access to their buildings. We have thoroughly investigated over 60 venues in the area for potential locations, schools, colleges, universities, theaters, and other venues. It's been a huge drain on our time and our resources and our finances. Nonprofits such as the Glen Ellen Wheaton Chorale, which is a 501c3 nonprofit, we face critical needs throughout the area for rehearsal and performance venues. We press on thanks to many volunteers and a passion of all of us, but we really need help to continue this mission of bringing harmony to the community. We present all genre of music in our group. We would ask you to help us to keep the music flowing, and please support phase 2 of the feasibility study. Thank you.
Wendy Wachowski.
Good morning. My name is Wendy Mahalski, and I'm with HCS Family Services. We have food pantries in Hinsdale and in Willowbrook. I'd like to say congratulations to Cheryl and let her know that we have plenty of volunteer opportunities available should she have time on her hands. First of all, I'd like to thank you for your commitment to solving food insecurity in DuPage County. You've really made a difference in the lives of our neighbors. Our Hinsdale Food Pantry will be moving to a new location in about a month. And for the first time ever in the life of our organization, 90 years, we will have walk-in cooler and freezer. And that's thanks to your support in partnership with 2 other organizations. Today I'm here to really thank you for your consideration of a refrigerated van for HCS. This would be another first in the history of our organization. It would really be a game changer, especially for our pantry in Willowbrook. We serve about 165 to 178 families per week, and the area we serve, which is Ann M. Jeans Elementary School in the Willowbrook Corners area, is considered a food desert. So the closest retail providers of food are McDonald's and Walgreens. And most of the residents there don't have reliable transportation. So we're really the provider of proteins and produce. And this van would allow us to give those neighbors the freshest produce that we get from our Direct Connect partners. So I'm very thankful for your consideration and for all you've done for our community in DuPage County. So thank you.
Rabbi Michael Ben Yosef.
Greetings to the chairperson, Conroy, DuPage County board members, constituents, and those who are watching here or via online. Congratulations for her name. Congratulations for your retirement. As a side note, it would be very much appreciated that the board consider to have at least 3-4 times a meeting to happen in the evening, because many can't show up to come to these meetings and because of work schedules. Having said that, I'm here this morning to address the board after the observance of the first year of the mass shooting in Willowbrook corner of the apartment complex. For this first 1 year, I returned to ground zero with the community, and we prayed, laid flowers and candles. According to the Daily Herald, the mass shooting, which drew national attention and social media posts from President Joe Biden, U.S. Representative Sean Casten, put a spotlight on the area many known as the Willowbrook Corner, the complex apartment that is a neighbor of the strip mall. Even more, I understand that funds have been distributed to many organizations. I'm here and glad to hear that. However, I still don't feel satisfied. The community does not feel satisfied. Even worse, the organization that received all this money did not even consider to call for an anniversary service to remember the lives impacted and even the family of Reginald Meadows. According to Darren Meadows, the brother of Reginald, he said, I quote, "I feel like my brother has been neglected." Does Darren have a point? Why hasn't this board honored his memory? My being here is that to address the board to help me build a sustainable memorial structure that will bear the name of Reginald and the 22 victims that were shot. This will be a sacred space that can be a place to remember, to grieve, and to heal. Again, according to the Daily Herald, the country board took up the discussion to buy a refrigerated truck, that we heard, for a food pantry. An official was just so excited to share this with me in open discussion. That's great to me. But still, I have to scratch my head. These measures should be only viewed as temporary and not a long-term solution. Does the county board buy groceries from their family refrigerated truck? What if the entire community needs groceries? Can this refrigerated truck meet the masses of people to serve its needs? What if the refrigerated truck breaks down? Rabbi, where are you getting at? This community needs a full-scale grocery store that I advocated for years ago that can meet the thousands of residents in that community. This community needs a functioning resource center that offers clinic services, child activities, community engagement, and so on. What is the distance to the nearest hospital? This community needs a functioning medical center. This community needs a regular town hall amenities that I want to begin in that area. A town hall that will be open door to hear the concerns and the suggestions. This community does not need another gas station or a car wash.
Rabbi, your 3 minutes is up. Could you please wrap up?
Thank you so
remarks?
much.
If the board has received public comment via our online portal, per board policy, these comments were provided to members yesterday so they could be reviewed. Comments submitted electronically will be included in the minutes of this meeting. Now I'd like to invite Member Tonatore and Member Zay to the podium. DuPage County recently received an upgrade in its community rating system designation from FEMA. This action will have a direct impact on our unincorporated homeowners, and I'd like to ask Members Tonatore and Zay to explain the details.
Thank you, Chair Conroy, and congratulations to Cheryl. In 2018, we enrolled in FEMA's community rating system, which recognizes floodplain management activities. The Building and Zoning Department and Stormwater Management Department have worked closely to work on this rating for the last 6 years, and I'm pleased to announce that we've moved from a rating 6 to a rating 5. Now, what that means is that nearly 400 property owners in unincorporated areas of the county will get up to a 25% discount in their flood insurance programs, saving over $60,000 annually. Since we began this program in the county, we've saved more than $600,000 for our residents. The Building and Zoning Department has on their website more information on this. Our property owners in the unincorporated areas can contact their insurance providers as well for more information. I do want to thank staff for diligently working on this. They worked very hard to get us on this rating. You can imagine in dealing with FEMA and the federal government, the hoops you have to run through or jump through, and they did it diligently and to get us where we're at. At this time, Jim's going to comment a little bit more about the specifics of the program.
Thank you, Sam. The CRS program credits government agencies for efforts that go above and beyond the standard flood protection for property owners. Following an evaluation, a community receives a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, and then a corresponding reduction in FEMA's National Floodplain Program premium is offered to community residents. There are 1,500 communities nationwide that take part in this program. Our rating of 5 is among the highest of all counties in the state, and it's among the highest rating in the nation. Stormwater Management performs several activities to help maintain and improve unincorporated DuPage County's CRS rating, including developing and implementing floodplain management plans that reduce flood risk and improve resiliency, educating residents and businesses about flood risks and flood protection measures, reviewing and regulating development activities in flood-prone areas, maintaining up-to-date floodplain maps and data to accurately assess community flood risks, and establishing and maintaining a flood warning system and emergency response plans to protect residents during flood events. This is an incredible accomplishment, and we're always looking for ways we can improve the burden on our homeowners, especially those who live in flood-prone areas. Once again, I want to thank our staff for all their hard work in making this happen. On behalf of the Building and Zoning and Stormwater Management Departments, we present this plaque, which, present this plaque to the county in recognition of our upgrade and our CRS system. So, and that goes for all of you. All the programs we pass, all the flooding we do, all the programs, it all matters. And so it might not seem like a lot, but to somebody who lives in a floodplain and when they get a credit on their floodplain insurance, it means a lot. So, Sam? Madam Chair? I know who the annoying one is.
I did it.
You can hit me with it. There you go.
I was honored to join dignitaries gathered at the DuPage County Fairgrounds for the 38th Annual Scottish Festival and Highland Games on June 15th. You really did miss a great time, guys. Fairground CEO Jim McGuire was estimating an attendance of between 12 and 15,000 people. And having been there, I would say attendance came in on the high side. I'd like to thank Jim, Gus Noble, president of the Chicago Scots, and all the organizers and participants in the games. It was a truly wonderful festival and big net positive for our economic development, with guests filling our hotels, visiting our restaurants, and other attractions. I hope many of you can join us next year. It really was a lot of fun. And Jim, I'm sure that you could probably join into that like telephone pole throw, but you will have to put a kilt on. So let that be said. Okay, now on to the consent items. I seek a motion to approve the consent agenda items. Okay. 24-1871, DuPage County Board. Somebody second? Thank you. Okay. Regular minutes, Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. 24-1764, 6/7/2024 pay list. 24-1767, 6/7/2024 auto debit pay list. 24-1779, 6/11/2024 pay list. 24-1833, 6/14/2024 pay list. 6/17/2024 auto debit pay list. 24-1843, 6/18/2024 pay list. 24-1730, 6/5/2024 Corval wire transfer. 24-1775 County Recorder's Office Monthly Revenue Report, May 2024. 24-1790 Clerk's Office Monthly Receipts and Disbursements Report, May 24. 24-1830 Treasurer's Monthly Report of Investments and Deposits, May 2024. 24-1853 Change orders to various contracts as specified in the attached packet. All in favor? Aye. Okay, and now we move on to Vice Chair, Member Childress, and County Board.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Today I rise for the appointment of Daniel Medrick to the Lylewood, I'm sorry, I need to read that, CBR 003124. Appointment of Daniel Medrick to the Lyle Woodbridge Fire Protection District.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart. Aye. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia.
Aye.
Guston. Krajewski. Aye. LaPlante. Aye. Ozog. Aye. Rutledge. Aye. Schwarzy. Aye. Tornatore. Aye. You.
Aye.
Zay. Aye. Cahill. And Chaplin.
Aye. Okay, Member Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Also, I'd like to move on CBR 003224, the appointment of Michael Cabrera to the West Chicago Fire Protection District.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Childress.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Finance and Member Chaplin.
Morning, Madam Chair. So by way of Finance Committee report, so far we have 1,814 budget surveys turned in. So people that are wishing to participate in our budget survey, they can go to our DuPage County website or our DuPage County Facebook and find those links. So if you want to participate, we welcome that. The deadline is July 8th. So with that, I will move approval of FIR 9524, placing names on payroll human services.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress. Yes. Covert. Desart. Aye. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia.
Aye.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatore. You.
Aye.
Zay. And Cahill.
Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 9824, approval of employee compensation and jobs reclassification adjustment, Public Works.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 9924, acceptance and appropriation of interest earned on investment for the DuPage Animal Funds Phase 2 Capital Project Grant in the amount of $142,082, Animal Services.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 10124, acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Home Weatherization Assistance Program, HHS grant, in the amount of $967,886, community service.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 10224, acceptance and appropriation of the Low Income Energy Assistance Program state grant in the amount of $3,681,051, community services.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 124, acceptance and appropriation of the Violent Crime Victims Assistance Program Special Project Grant in the amount of $38,325, State's Attorney's Office.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 10324, acceptance of extension of time and modification of funding allocation for the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, HHS supplemental grant in the for community services.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 10424, acceptance of an extension of time for the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, HHS grant, community services.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 10524, resolution to formalize an existing agreement between the County of DuPage and the DuPage County Regional Office of Education for use of ARPA funds for the Student Apprentice program in the amount of $95,588.70, ARPA item.
Okay, who wants to go first?
Nice try, Jim.
Amber wants to go first. Is Amber here?
I am online. Thank
Okay,
you
great.
for letting me to join remotely.
All right, thank you for being there. Okay, so who's member you?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Amber, for being on Zoom. We had a lot of questions earlier, a lot of discussion. I just want to state first that, again, I'm not debating the merits of these two programs. I'm sorry, the first program that is up is with regard to the Student Apprenticeship Program. And so I just wanted to know how long this program has been in existence and how was this funded before?
So we're currently in phase 3 of this program. In phase 1, my predecessor sought funding both from the county and then from a congressional earmark. And that helped fund phase 1 and phase 2, which the first one involved COVID. So it was a bit of a slow start. And that was essentially just activating the different resources and early adopters. And then the second phase was about really engaging more of the stakeholders and figuring out what their entry points would be for the apprenticeship programs. And phase 3 is we're creating a regional work-based learning ecosystem. So our hope would be by phase 4, we will have the sustainability built um, to just keep the work going, probably through a braided funding model. So even for part of phase 3, after the county funds, the ARPA funds are no longer, we've dedicated part of one of our ROE grants toward this. And then we're working with the EFE, which is the Education for Employment Center, which is located in Addison, and they receive dollars as well. So for next year's budget, we're talking about figuring out how they can braid the funding in so that we can maintain this regional approach. So I would say it had a slow start in 2020, to answer your question of how long it's been going on and where the funding came from so far.
Okay, any other questions?
I had one more question.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So you had said that you are looking at some funding models to sustain this project going forward. I'm sorry, I think maybe I missed some things. How will you be paying it going forward?
So that has not been fully established yet. We have a work-based learning consortium that we formed, and part of that group is now a steering committee to create a strategic plan. In September, there is an opportunity for multiple people from the county to visit Kansas City. It has a regional approach so that we can learn a little bit more about how they're doing it. Actually, they're making this model work both in Kansas and in Missouri, where it's located. So involving 2 different states, and they're still managing to bring all the pieces together and all the partnerships. Also, just to explain a little bit about the student apprenticeship, as far as where the funding is being used, the majority of it is going to our intermediary, GPS Ed, and they are kind of the single point of contact. So if you have 21 different high schools that are actively participating right now, and then we're getting middle school students or middle schools on board with more career awareness. But if you have teachers at each one of those schools calling businesses, let's say, ComEd does a lot with communities, and then they have, over 30 people calling them to set up these opportunities for students, the intermediary does that piece of it so that, it's a more coordinated effort. I'm very grateful to, I think some of you know Tom Wendorf. He's the one that connected GPS Ed with the ROE when this work initially started. So to answer your question, we don't have a full plan on where we will get the funding, but right now the idea is to look at a braided funding model where they would be supported through multiple ways, multiple methods.
Thank you. And then I actually have one more question. If I may. If there's anybody else who has a question, you can let them go before me.
No, please go. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And then it came up during finance that that because of the consensus decision that monies have already been spent, or that you were working on this program with the understanding that you could use these funds or something. Can you just clarify if that actually happened? Or I think Nick made some explanation about it and it didn't really make a lot of sense to me, so I would really appreciate hearing from you.
I think as far as, I think the idea is that with ARPA, the funds have to be obligated, correct? And we can obligate this money toward the intermediary. And we have 2 other consultants that do, one that focuses more on creating campaigns for the work-based learning on social media, as well as building partnerships and partner engagement with schools as well. And then another one who helps coordinate with Choose DuPage and WorkNet DuPage and the TCD. So all of it would be obligated to the services that are provided by those people. Is that what you meant?
No, I don't know that my question was answered. I don't know if somebody else needs to come up. Okay.
Member Garcia.
Yeah, hi, Amber. Just for clarification, when we did the consensus a year ago and approved the program, was the money started to be spent at that point in time, or is it just going to be started with this approval if we do the $95,000 starting when we approve this?
Sorry, I hit the mute button. I don't have that in front of me of when we started. But for example, earlier I was able to find an email from Mary Catherine Laws from January of the spending. So I know we were spending it at least since then. And we would just continue obligating it toward this program. And it's, I believe the intermediary, it's about $15,000 per month that were invoiced. Not including the other consultants.
Thank you, Amber.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Nick, did you want to add something?
I do have the exact accounting for that in between. So the truancy program, the original amount was $380,725. $271,971 and 71 cents have been expended through 5/31. Left to spend is $108,753.29. The student apprenticeship program originally had an agreed upon amount of $403,920. $308,361.30 has been expended through 5/31. Left to spend $95,558.70.
Thank you so much.
Member Krajewski.
Assume that's in our budget for 2024?
For I mean, these are ARPA dollars that were expended, so it's not general fund money. This is ARPA money this is part of the original allocation of all the different uses.
Are those included in our budget, though?
They're budgeted in order to spend the ARPA money.
Right, so I mean, we had it in our 2024 budget.
Yeah.
Did we approve?
And this money.
Did we approve?
Yeah, and it was absolutely approved, but this money moving forward, you see today.
I understand.
Yeah, you guys know what we have to do
Right,
for the
because
ARPA
we have to do it
requirements.
to make sure it carries over for next year, the 25.5. But this was in the 2024 budget that we approved.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Amber, thank you for being here. I'd like to just find out, do you have any kind of statistics on how many students have been contacted through this program for both apprenticeship and for job creation or apprenticeship and the truancy program? I hear consultant and et cetera, intermediaries, but how many kids have actually been impacted now that you have been spending some of the ARPA funds toward this plan? I mean, I do understand impact on students, et cetera, for the pandemic, but I'm just curious how many actual students have been impacted.
Sure. This past spring, we had done a presentation, and at that point, there were 150 students who were engaged in this 157. I don't know if I just said that, but engaged with the program. And then that's not counting all of the awareness activities that's specific to the apprenticeships. Because there are other opportunities I don't necessarily have the numbers for all the times that the kids come to the different awareness opportunities that are put out there about work-based learning or career pathways. And as far as truancy goes, we have 400 open cases at the end of the school year that will be starting the 2024-2025 school year, trying to help those students get right into school. So there is definitely a need to continue having this interventionist. We do have a long-term plan for when the ARPA funds run out for this position so that we can maintain the personnel. We have another grant that we're going to apply for that will cover their costs so that we can keep our team at least at the capacity it is now, because the referrals have continued to increase with the chronic absenteeism rates skyrocketing in our county.
Thank you.
Member LaPlante.
Thank you, Chair. Amber, do these numbers sound correct to you? Over the work-based learning program has 21 high schools participating and over 300 students participating and over 150 kids with an internship. Does that sound accurate?
That does.
Thank you. So a lot of people have been impacted already in this program, and there's obviously, as you just said, and these numbers prove that, there is a need for this program.
Member Cahill.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So, of course, in the finance meeting, I was very much in support of this and continue to be in support of this. Thank you, Amber, for coming and clarifying some things for some of the board members. But it appears to me that Amber has a plan going forward with how she's going to fund the future after ARPA goes up, with grant money, with ROE grants, working with EEC and Addison. So that was some of the issues before, that how are we going to handle this going forward? And it sounds like you have some great ideas. So thank you, Amber, and I fully support this.
Member Yu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So Amber, you had just stated that you do have this long-term plan, which is great. And for when the ARPA money runs out, you had mentioned that you'd be applying for grants. So I just wanted to ask, why was it not grant funded before, if it can be grant funded going forward? I'm just looking for a little bit more background. That's it. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Actually, with the truancy piece to it, I honestly just learned that there is an alternative learning grant that we apply for specifically to middle school, because we already have it for high school. And I had been under the impression that we only have one in our county, but I have since learned that if we have a middle school focus, then we could apply for that grant. So it was really, just learning a little bit more about what's out there and available to us as an ROE.
Thank you.
Last question, Member Guston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Amber, also in you talking about phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, I know in your presentation last year, you had presented that really COVID also added to the truancy increase, and that, it was going to be difficult moving forward to get kids to get back in school, which is not a good thing. We want them in school. Are you seeing a decline in that truancy now, or an increase?
Since COVID, it's remained high as far as our referrals go to our office. And it starts with chronic absenteeism, and that's at the high school, or at the school level, I should say. And that's the percentage of students just absent for any reason. And then once they're absent 9 days unexcused, then the districts are able to refer to us depending on their individual policies. So yes, we have seen quite a number of referrals over the last few years since COVID, definitely more than pre-COVID. And it did not decline at all.
Great. And then the intermediary that these funds are going to provide services to the students, I think is a great thing, and I would always want to support anything that is going to help our kids and our students in the county to move forward and be positive and have a positive future. So I am fully in support of this. We talked about it a year ago, and I supported it, and I still wholeheartedly support it now. I think it's a benefit to the system, but it's a big benefit to those kids that are being influenced by it and being helped by it. So I want to thank you for all your hard work on this, Amber. I know it's 2 different programs, and you put a lot of time and effort into this, as did those individuals in the meeting. So I will be supporting this issue.
Okay. Do we have a second on this? We'll have to take a roll call. Okay, roll call, please.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans, Galassi, Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Shorzy. Tornatori. Yu. Zay. And Cahill.
Aye.
Member Chaplin.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of FIR 10624, resolution to formalize an existing agreement between the County of DuPage and the DuPage County Regional Office of Education for the use of ARPA funds for truancy program in the amount of $108,753.29.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 10724, approval of an agreement to the grant agreement between the County of DuPage and Choose DuPage for tourism-related feasibility studies, ARPA item.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans, Galassi, Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Shorzy. Tornatori. Yu. Zay. And Cahill.
Aye.
Okay. Member Chaplin.
Thank you,
Motion
Madam-
passes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of FIR 11024, appointment of the Director of Transportation.
Oh, okay. Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We look forward to welcoming Stephen Travia on August 1st. It's been a long search, but we're very excited. Mr. Travia is a professional engineer with over 30 years' experience. He currently is with IDOT as the Director of Office of Highways Project Implementation. And I especially want to thank Bill Edson, who has been our acting director for the last 7 months. Our work gets done and everybody is moving along, but we're really looking forward to having somebody permanent. So this is a great day. Thank you.
Okay. Member Chaplin.
Okay, did we,
Oh,
do we
leave
gotta
is
vote on
granted.
that.
Sorry. Wait. Oh, we got it. Oh, you want a roll call? Okay. Oh, yep. Sorry. Roll call.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans, Galassi, Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Shorzy. Tornatori. Yu. Zay. And Cahill.
Okay. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 10824, approval of additional funds for the local food pantry infrastructure investment program round 2 to increase the funding from $500,000 to an amount not to exceed $551,479.02 ARPA interest.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. I move approval of FIR 10924, approval of a payment to HCS Family Services for the purchase of a refrigerated van in the amount of $74,665.03.
Leave is granted. Member Chaplin.
Thank you. And finally, I move approval of FIR 11124, budget transfers 625-2024, various companies and accounting units.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Chaplin.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Animal Services and Member Krajewski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just real briefly, we had last meeting, a resident come and speak to us. I did have on our agenda Laura, our administrator, to address the concerns, and pretty much everything she said was not true, but just to highlight a couple of them. The 7-day hold, animal has to be held 7 days, and that's per actually state statute. We're non-home rule. That comes up a lot when you're not home rule. That dog particular instance was held at the police department in the village for 7 days, and then held with us for 3 days, so it actually had a total of 10 days, not the 3 or 4 that she had indicated. And then, Laura did bring up to our committee also, when we use rescues, we work on their behavioral training, and when the lady said we don't go to rescues that use shock collars and prong collars, our vet has had several instances of dogs that have come in that have puncture wounds because of these prong collars, or have had singed hair because of the shock collars. As a result, we have trained our staff, sent them to behavioral schools we only work with rescues that'll follow the procedures that we think are more humane on the behavioral issues. And she addressed a number of the other issues. Laura tries to reach out to anybody who has public comment here. She was going to try to track that person down. I'm not sure how we have sign-ins over there, but in the past, we've had a few people come forward, and she has reached out to them, actually brought them in, and helped educate them and tell them how we do things, and they seem to all be satisfied once they get all the information. But again, she did a great presentation in front of our board and addressed all the concerns that were raised at that meeting, and also any concerns board members had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Member Krajewski. Development and Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 38-24, zoning 24-6,
Second.
Cermak Builders to approve a conditional use for a planned development to allow an existing duplex to remain on the property.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Tornatori.
Aye.
You. Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. And Schwarzy.
Okay, Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 39-24, zoning 2417, 80th Street Investments to renew a conditional use for group quarters with a maximum occupancy of 12 residents.
Leave is granted. Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 40-20, zoning 2422, Somerset Plaza to allow conditional use for auto sales with auto repair in a B1 local business district.
Leave is granted. Member Tonatore. Oh, do we have a? Okay, leave is granted. Member
Madam
Tonatore.
Chair, move approval of DCO 41-24, zoning 2427, to approve a variation to increase the total floor area ratio of subject property from permitted 35% to approximately 39.59%.
Leave is granted. Member Tonatore.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move approval of DCO 43-23, text amendments to the DuPage County zoning ordinance to approve proposed text amendments related to assembly, restaurants, fences, passenger and commercial vehicles, video gaming regulations, accessory structures and buildings, and historic lots, and waive first reading.
Okay, Member Yu has a question.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I was just reviewing this, and I think that there were 2 typos in here. And so I wanted to just bring to staff's attention. On page 3, it says something, it says, an establishment wherein the principal business is the sale of food and may ancillary. So I think that there's a word missing here. I think it might be maybe ancillary. And then on the very, very last page, there is a sentence that is cut off. Where it states video gaming, cafe, restaurant, 4 parking spaces per each 1,000 square feet of gross floor. And then it says AR, and I'm assuming it's for area, but it's not in there. So I just wanted to make sure that that was corrected.
I think
okay.
You and with the body and you, we can approve this with the scrivener's errors corrected.
Okay, do we believe? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, noted.
Thank you, Madam
Okay.
Chair.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Tonatore. Okay, and Economic Development and Member LaPlante.
Member Chair,
Thank you, Member Chair.
I was a nay, just so you know.
Oh, then we need a roll call. Okay, we'll have to go back and take a roll call then.
Tornatori. You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert.
No.
Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. And Schwarzy. 14 voting aye, 2 voting nay.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, Economic Development and Member LaPlante.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm pleased to announce that our feasibility study is moving forward to Phase 2 after a vote of 16-1 in today's finance meeting and then a similar vote with the same outcome in full board. I'd like to thank Greg Bedeloff and Choose DuPage for implementing this study. Also, thanks to my colleagues and community members who have supported this initiative. It's always exciting to bring forth new initiative which explores potential in DuPage County to drive and develop economic development, and I very much look forward to the results of Phase 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Member LaPlante. Environment and Member Rutledge.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. Just a quick note today that hold on to your hats for any of you that have relatives in the East Coast, Florida. Ocean temperatures in the Atlantic are going to exceed 90 degrees this year, so be prepared for a pretty robust hurricane season. So I know that doesn't affect you here, but if you're insured with the same insurers that are insuring properties in Florida, expect your rates to go up.
Thank you. I think Member Rutledge. HESB and Member Schwarzy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on item ETSR 4524, a resolution approving the sale of surplus items, legacy APX 7000 portable radios from the County of DuPage on behalf of the Emergency Telephone System Board of DuPage County to the Board of Trustees of Illinois State University on behalf of Illinois State University Emergency Management.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Tornatore. Aye. You.
Aye.
Zay. Aye. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Sorry. Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. And Rutledge.
Okay. Thank you, Member Schwarzy, and Human Services and Member Schwarzy.
Thank you, thank you. Just a couple announcements. First of all, you guys all received this pamphlet on the annual report for the Community Services 2023. There's some good information on here on all the Community Services block grants that went out last year, along with some other information. So thank you to our Executive Director, Mary Keating, for handing that out. Also, I got some news from Janelle Chadwick from the DuPage Care Center. Last Monday and Tuesday, the Care Center moved the 3 North residents up to the newly remodeled 4 North floor. It actually is worth applause. So thank you, Joan Olson, for starting that, because you know, the construction takes a long time, and they've been waiting long to get into that area, that new area. So that's great. So it was a coordinated effort where teams moved furniture and clothing up in stages. The residents were then brought up to their new space to finalize their personal items, and it has gone very smoothly. 3 North demolition begins this week. So, and then finally, I just want to thank this board and just let you know how grateful I am on a couple of the items we approved today, including increasing the round 2 infrastructure grants from $500 to $551,000, and then also approving the HSC refrigerated van. You know, food insecurity is not going away. In fact, it's just getting worse. And you know, I want to let you guys know that I don't take for granted that you guys are voting to help our community. And so, you know, last summer it was reported at a multi-chamber of commerce event that 80,000 people in DuPage County don't know where their next meal is coming from. And I'm certain in the last year that number's probably increased. The food pantries, the Northern Illinois Food Bank continually report that they're getting record crowds from you know, week to week, month to month. So very grateful. I will say that there's a potential for sort of a round, I'll call it not a round 3 grant, but we did not yet bring to this board another $600,000 or so in infrastructure grants that we may be seeing in the next, you know, maybe couple months. So I'll be bringing that forward as well. So, but again, thank you very much. I think that's, you know, the good work that we're doing here, and I want you all to know I'm very grateful. So thank you. On to the agenda items. I'll make the motion to approve item HSR 1524, approval of issuance of payments. Put my glasses on, sorry. By DuPage County to the energy assistance providers through the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, LIHEAP State Grant Plan Year 25, intergovernmental agreement in the amount of $3,092,083.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Tornatore. Aye. You.
Aye.
Zay. Aye. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans, Galassi, Garcia, Guston, Krajewski, LaPlante, Ozog, and Rutledge.
Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSP 2224, recommendation for the approval of a contract issued to Benovate, Inc., doing business as Neighborly Software for the purchase of a grants management software system for community development for the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 for a contract total of $45,000.
Okay, roll call, please.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Tornatore. You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans, Galassi, Garcia, Guston, Krajewski, LaPlante, Ozog, and Rutledge.
Okay, Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. I move on HSP 2324, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to the Standard Companies for trash can liners for the DuPage Care Center for the period July 14, 24 through July 13, 25 for an amount not to exceed $75,000.
Leave is granted. Member Schwarzy.
Thank you. Finally, I move on HSP 2424, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Equipment International LTD for aseptic barrier washer extractors for the DuPage Care Center for the period June 26, 24 through November 30th of 24 for an amount not to exceed $260,090.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Schwarzy. Next, we have Judicial and Public Safety, and I see there's no report. Oh, there is a report. Who's Vice Chair? Oh, my favorite.
Tall guy standing
Member.
in the back.
Okay, the tall guy in the back row, Member
Looking too.
Eckhoff.
Yes. Thank you. I would move approval of JPS 6-24, recommendation for the approval of a change order amending purchase order 5308-0001, issued to Logicalis for management of the remote disaster recovery environment to increase the purchase order in the amount of $24,474.54, resulting in an amended purchase order of $1,104,525.22, an increase of 3.26%.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Eckhoff.
Aye.
Evans, Galassi, Garcia, Guston, Krajewski, LaPlante, Ozog, Rutledge, Schwarzy, Tornatore, You,
Aye.
Zay, Cahill, Chaplin, Childress, Covert, and Desart.
Member Eckhoff.
Thank you, Chair. Move approval of JPS 7-24, amendment of purchase order 2846-0001, issued to Journal Technologies, Inc. for a case management system to increase contract in the amount of $12,676.38 for an additional licenses for a new contract, total amount of $892,725.76, an increase of 1.44 for the Public Defender's Office.
Leave is granted. Member Eckhoff.
Thank you. I'd move approval of JPS 13-24, authorization of a memorandum of understanding between the Illinois law enforcement system and the County of DuPage.
Leave is granted. Member Eckhoff.
Thank you. I'd move approval of JPS 17-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order issued to the Inside Public Sector Inc. for the purchase of GTAC convertible tablets, batteries, and chargers for the Sheriff's Office for the period June 25, 2024 through June 24, 2025 for a contract total amount not to exceed $47,819.
Leave is granted. Member Eckhoff.
Thank you. I'd move approval of JPS 18-24, recommendation for the approval of contract issued to Diane Hightower for coordinator of the Family Violence Coordinating Council for the period of July 1, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 for a contract total amount of $40,320.
Okay, roll call, please.
Eckhoff.
Aye.
Evans, Galassi, Garcia, Guston, Krajewski, LaPlante, Ozog, Rutledge, Schwarzy, Tornatore, You,
Aye.
Zay, Cahill, Chaplin,
Aye.
Childress, Covert, and Desart.
Okay.
Thank you.
Member Eckhoff. Legislative and Member Desart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In Washington, I appreciate that our lobbyist, Greg Bales, is laser focused on DuPage County issues. In his latest report, the FY25 congressionally directed spending and community project funding earmarked selection process has concluded, and McGuire Woods worked closely with our county and its departments and staff preparing and submitting the county's FY25 priority projects. Here are some of the priority projects that are being considered. Representative Delia Ramirez has recommended a 3rd Avenue Stormwater Management Project. DuPage County wants to upgrade outdated storm sewer systems located in the Addison Creek watershed. More than 20 residential structures adjacent to 3rd Avenue in the Bensenville area have experienced structural flooding for several decades. This new proposed drainage project will make this area, instead of a 5-year flood-proof area, to 50-year, save it from a 50-year flood event. Representative Raja Krishnamurthy has recommended a project at Newton Street and 2nd Avenue in Glen Ellen for flood reduction at $300,000. And I wish the rabbi was still here to hear this. Representative Bill Foster is pushing forward Willowbrook Corners infrastructure and mobility improvements. The funding will be used for the construction of a sidewalk and pedestrian lighting system and to support a partnership with Pace Suburban Bus to pilot a mobility program, which is so needed in that area. It's aimed at assisting families with limited income, and this project worth about $750,000. In Springfield, our lobbyists report that Illinois is now reporting the presence of West Nile virus in 13 counties. Thank goodness DuPage is not one of them. The 103rd Illinois General Assembly will meet for their veto session November 12th through the 14th and November 19th through the 21st. And just a small note that Kirk Dillard has been reappointed to lead the RTA. And that's my update. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Desart. In Public Works, and Member Garcia.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. Just a couple of things. I really hope everyone will watch our last committee meeting. There was a great presentation on, to keep in the vein of Member Rutledge, of things that are going to go bad around here. Stormwater, we've got buildings that are actually built to a stormwater level that is much lower, yes, because we're going to have higher stormwater here. And so we're going to do some stormwater projects hopefully in the next year to protect our buildings and our capital around here on the property. Also a reminder that after the July County Board meeting, the offices are going to be remodeled. So all of your district offices, you want to make sure if you get all of your personal items out of there so we can get some much needed staff conferencing room and then a one meeting room for all of us. So that will be happening as that's been approved. So just that's your first reminder. I'll give you a second one after the next meeting. After that, I make a motion to approve PWR 000424, intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage, Illinois and the Itasca Park District granting a permanent non-exclusive easement for the Rollwig Road multi-use path project.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Garcia.
Aye.
Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress.
Yes.
Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans and Galassi.
Okay. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve PWR 000524, resolution approving a consulting and cured-in-place pipe credit agreement with Institute Form Technologies USA, LLC, in connection with the county's Omnia contracts for trenchless rehabilitation and maintenance of pipeline infrastructure.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve PWP 001424, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Stewart Spreading for the daily removal and land application of biosolids from both the Woodridge Green Valley Wastewater Treatment Plant and the Knoll Water Wastewater Treatment Plant for the period of October 1st, 2024 to September 30th, 2028, for a total contract amount not to exceed $2,095,000 per qualified offer.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia.
I make a motion to approve PWP 001324, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Mid-American Water to furnish and deliver waterless pacer hydrants on an as-needed basis for the DuPage County Public Works Underground Maintenance Department for the period of June 26, 2024 to June 25, 2025, for a total contract amount not to exceed $62,500.
Leave is granted. Member Garcia. What? Somebody. Okay. Thank you, Member Cahill. Leave is granted, Member Garcia.
Make a motion to approve FMP 002924, recommendation to award a contract to Enterprise Global Technologies LLC for participation in the Demand Response Program contract for called emergency events for approximately $31,773 for the period of June 1st, 2024 through May 31st, 2025 per renewal option.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Garcia.
You're welcome.
Okay, Stormwater and Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a few things. We are in the severe weather season, so just remind everyone to clean out your drains of dead grass and leaves and garbage and your culverts so the water can flow through when we get these downpours. Also, I was concerned from Member Rutledge's talk about hurricanes that we should probably increase the stormwater budget this year just in case with the severe weather coming up from the Gulf. So we'll probably be seeking a 25% increase in stormwater funding. So thank you.
Perhaps a geography lesson is in order. Okay. Strategic planning and Member Covert.
No committee update, Madam Chair.
Okay. Technology and Member Yu.
Thank you, Madam Chair. No committee update, but I move to approve TECO 1-24, recommendation for the approval of amendment to purchase order 6956-0001 serve issued to Toshiba Business Solutions for multifunctional device equipment, supply, software, and service solutions.
Second.
To increase the contract in the amount of $261,678.69 to add a lease and usage line for ETSB and increase the lease and usage amounts for the Sheriff's Office, resulting in a total not to exceed $1,761,678.69.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin. Childress. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. LaPlante. Ozog. Rutledge. Schwarzy. And Tornatore.
Member Yu.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move on TEP 8-24, recommendation for the approval of a contract to AT&T Mobility National Act to provide wireless services, including basic cellular voice, smartphones, wireless data, and push-to-talk for county departments for the period of July 25, 2024 through July 24, 2027, for a contract total amount not to exceed $1,481,535 per the IGA between the County of DuPage and National Association of State Procurement Officers.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Yu. Transportation and Member Ozog.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to approve DTR 002824, resolution authorizing the acceptance of an assignment of easement from the Village of Lisle to the County of DuPage for sidewalk improvements along County Highway 40 College Road. Yes, that's it.
It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Ozog.
Aye.
Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatore. You.
Aye.
Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. And LaPlante.
Okay, Member Ozog.
Thank you. I move to combine items 23B through E. These are all contracts.
Leave is granted. Member Ozog. Wait,
No,
I'm sorry.
I move to combine, so
You
I
moved
have
to
a second.
combine. Okay, all in favor? Okay, so
thank you.
moved.
Okay, I move to approve DTP 004224, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Auto Tech Centers Incorporated to furnish and deliver Goodyear tires as needed for the Division of Transportation in the period July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $175,000. Move for approval of DTP 004124, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Snap-on Industrial to furnish and deliver Snap-on tools and diagnostic equipment as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $30,000. Move for approval of DTP 004324, recommendation for the approval of a contract to H.W. Lochner Incorporated to provide professional concept and Phase 1 engineering services to the Division of Transportation for the 31st Street multi-use path from Highland Avenue to Myers Road for a contract total not to exceed $358,415.10, professional services vetted through a qualification-based selection process. I move for approval of DTP 004424, recommendation for the approval of a contract to EXP US Services to provide professional, preliminary, and design engineering services as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period June 25th, 2024 through October 31st, 2025 for a contract total not to exceed $1,500,000, professional services vetted through a qualification-based selection process. So you need to approve all of those.
It has been moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Ozog.
Yes.
Rutledge. Schwarzy. Tornatori. You. Zay. Cahill. Chaplin.
Aye.
Childress. Covert. Desart. Eckhoff. Evans. Galassi. Garcia. Guston. Krajewski. And LaPlante.
Okay. Member Ozog.
And finally, I move for approval of DTO 00324, ordinance declaring the assignment of easement from the Village of Woodridge to the County of DuPage necessary and convenient to the county for sidewalk improvements along Hobson Road under Local Government Property Transfer Act.
Leave is granted. Thank you, Member Ozog.
Thank you.
Okay, is there, on 24A, is there any discussion? Don't see any. Okay, on to old business. Do any members have any Member Krajewski?
Yeah, we heard a little bit about stormwater today, but as we're moving into our budget season and going forward to next year, I just had a meeting, our county board members, Lucy and Carrie, with our District 3 mayors, and Willowbrook, Burr Ridge, Westmont, they brought up stormwater issues, and I'm sure probably everybody else heard that too. I don't sit on stormwater transportation this cycle, but I know several years ago with the transportation, we did a couple of years or 1 year get some allocation of RTA dollars that we're able to do a phase 1 engineering study. And when you have the phase 1s done on the transportation side, it allows you then to apply for federal grants. We were able to secure federal grants, multi-millions of dollars because we spent a little money up front and had engineering studies done. Stormwater, I believe, is the same way also. So, as we're looking to go into this budget season, I'd like to see us maybe allocate some money into stormwater. I know Sarah's offered to work with municipalities because we got the unincorporated, but to the extent we can help with some phase 1 studies in municipalities, and we can then go forward with maybe leveraging those to get federal grants. And I think Nick made a comment about we have one right now where we could potentially get 3 to 1 on our dollars. Can you just mention how that works to everybody? But if we can have some of these done and maybe we put some money in the stormwater budget to work jointly with municipalities, and if we get those done, it can then help us leverage that to get grants. And I think there's a big grant out there we may be getting. We got the expert behind you there, Nick. So.
I called the expert out.
But
yes.
I think we should look at maybe trying, because we're going to have a surplus in this at the end of this year, that we can maybe work on stuff with our municipalities jointly to identify areas in their towns that we can help maybe participate, because you also need the 20% share when you go for those federal grants.
And I'm glad you brought it up. So give a little bit of background. Sarah contacted me probably a couple months ago with a federal opportunity, $5.4 million grant for stormwater projects if we were able to supply $1.3 million. Well, I called both, Chairman Zay and our county board chair, and they couldn't say yes fast enough for the commitment for that kind of turnaround for that. So Sarah and her team did a tremendous amount of work. Got that turned around for the federal application very quickly, and we're not approved yet, but it's looking very, very positive, and it is over 3 to 1 for money, and we are extremely aggressive for anything where we can turn our money and multiply it 3 times for something. We're very, very aggressive. We are hopeful that at sometime in the next, what do you think, probably October, November, we may be coming before you saying we need 1.3 million to get 5.4 million.
Member Zay and then Member Guston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And yeah, we'll always work with municipalities, but I don't want to forget that we gave $11 million to the municipalities in ARPA funding for projects all over the entire county, and we try to divide that equally between all the districts. So if an opportunity comes up like that, we've always jumped on that where we can, get a bang for our buck, as we call it, and get a project done for the feds putting up a good majority of the money.
Okay, Member Guston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have new business, but on this point, is it only for municipalities, or could it be for parks or schools? I don't know.
Thank you, Member Guston. The opportunity both Member Krajewski and Nick were talking about is actually what Member Desart mentioned in her legislative update, and that's the 3rd Avenue Drainage Project in Bensonville. Congresswoman Ramirez put it forward in her congressional spending ask on behalf of the county. We're very grateful for that, and again, we don't have the money yet. As far as the ARPA funds, and I know you asked this question ahead of it, We put out a grant opportunity for ARPA funds that was strictly for municipalities and townships. We had a great response on that. With our investment of over $10 million for these funds, and we've been working closely with the finance department on it, we've seen over $30 million of infrastructure being put in. Some of those municipalities, also like the county, didn't look a gift horse in the mouth and said, yes, if we can have this bolster of $500,000 for this project, that puts us over the top and we can put in $3 million worth of infrastructure. But that was strictly for public entities because this was how we put forward our regional program.
And I thank you for that. The only reason I asked is because a lot of stormwater costs are a lot of times incurred by the property owner, the developer, or the builder. And so in turn, what happens is it raises the cost on housing, and we have our ad hoc housing, affordable housing committee, so I'm trying to balance it in my brain if there's an opportunity to offset some of those expenses so that those prices don't continue to rise because of cost.
And hopefully with this infrastructure that we're putting in place, we won't see an increased demand on the building manufacturing world. One of the things specifically with ARPA funds and most federal funds that are put out there for grant opportunity is that we can't utilize those funds to offset permit requirements. And so if it's detention required as part of a permit, then we can't utilize ARPA funds for that. It has to be a standalone infrastructure improvement project.
Thank you.
I can tell you overall, I mean, the concept of leveraging our funds, I mean, every department, especially the construction departments, were very aggressive, stormwater especially, transportation, public works. We all actually have existing contracts and projects where we're leveraging now. So we are always looking for that opportunity to leverage, turn our money into something more.
Great, thank you.
Okay, do we have any further, okay, member Desart.
This is other new business, not related to that.
I think we're still in old business.
Oh, old business. I'll wait till new business. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And I'm sorry to interrupt you. We do have something else on our old business agenda, though. But are there any further questions or comments before we move on? Okay, then I'd like to invite Auditor Bill White to join us with an update. Microphone. There you go.
Okay. With regard to the cannabis audit update, the applicable government auditing standards, so-called the Yellow Book, requires that the audited entity, in this case the Office of the County Clerk, be provided a full copy of the report and an opportunity to provide their written response before I release it. I foresee giving them the report hopefully this week. I'll come back July 9th and tell you where we're at. I'm not ethically able to release the report until the audited entity has a chance to review it and provide their comments. On the other issue that's pending, which is the unfinished quarterly reports, OpenGov's an incredibly powerful tool. The scope of the quarterly reports is larger than the areas of the county finances that OpenGov touches. It doesn't touch everything that needs to be put into the quarterly reports. I said before, our target is to complete the quarterly reports by the end of July. We'll do it the old-fashioned way, the manual way. We'll have that by the end of July. The budget request we're preparing right now is for additional software that will allow us to do the quarterly reports in the future in a much more automated way. And that's the status of where those two projects are.
Member Cahill.
Regarding the quarterly reports, what topics or what areas?
One example, first of all, OpenGov has been implemented for budgeting. So certain cash account balances they're not easily accessed. Apparently, if we had an OpenGov consultant come in and make modifications to the program, we'd be able to do it. Also, the quarterly reports have included health department information, which OpenGov doesn't touch. So OpenGov can't access the health department records, and we need to put those into the quarterly report.
But what specifically are you auditing? I mean, what departments, what areas, isn't there a specific guideline of what you're looking at?
Yes, and we have access to that the old-fashioned manual way, and that we were hoping to find a way to do it automated, and we've looked into that. My staff met with finance. OpenGov's a wonderful program. It just doesn't touch all the parts that we need, So my staff's got to set aside the time, set aside a couple of weeks, and just manually crunch these things out. And I said before, we would have that by the end of July, and we will.
Member Desart.
Auditor White, can you please explain to us why we haven't seen any quarterly reports for 4 years, and they are statutorily mandated?
Well, it's the same thing, is that the technology, they have to be prepared in a manual fashion, because, and the manual process is very time-consuming. Probably the most honest answer is that we had a king-size bed of obligations and a queen-size sheet of resources, and something had to, and I'm not, and that's simply taking responsibility. They should have been done, and they will be done.
But they haven't been done for 4 years, and if you needed help, why didn't you come to the board and say, hey, we need to revisit either staffing or technology or something? 4 years without quarterly reports is
it's unacceptable.
It is
I
unacceptable.
agree. And all I can do now is say that we will catch up. As of today, that's all I can say, is that we will catch up.
Okay, and just for clarification, my office has offered if they needed more staff, so that's been offered.
It's technology.
Yes,
it's technology.
Yes, so I just want you to know that, yes. Member Kajewski.
Yeah, thank you, Member White, for coming. I mean, the statute, letter E, it just says report quarterly to the county board the entire financial operations of the county, including the revenues anticipated and received. I'm not sure you have to do a full-fledged audit. I think you give quarterly reports of the financial operations of the county, including the revenues anticipated and received, expenditures estimated, I mean, it's kind of and paid, obligations unpaid, the condition of all funds and appropriations and other pertinent information. The county auditors will cause this also to be published in a newspaper, let the public come and look at it. I'm not sure we need a full in-depth audit. I mean, audit's been done by Baker Tilly for the last couple of years. It's just giving us our quarterly report that will allow us to, I mean, we used to get them in the past. We had a report from our CFO today kind of show us where the revenues are that we've received and kind of where we're at budget-wise and where our expenditures are. But those are the quarterly reports that, we would get from us. And honestly, if we'd have got, or I would have got one of those quarterly reports, I would have saw that the cannabis tax was not collected. I saw it in September when we finally got some finance people up in front of us and showed it on the board, and you see $70,000 for 9 months, which clearly wasn't right. We could see we're getting $3 million. And I got one of those reports, I could have saw it, I mean, it would have jumped right out. I mean, you know how much we're supposed to get, and you see it. I mean, it was an easy thing. But I'm not sure you have to do a full-fledged audit. I'm talking about technology. I think he's got to give us reports, which we just had one earlier today.
Well, I can address the relationship of that with the cannabis more after we issue the audit report. But keep in mind that the deadline for filing the ordinance with the with the Department of Revenue, the quarterly report wouldn't have been issued until after we'd missed a whole bunch of deadlines. But I'll go into more of that later.
No, of course they would have been issued. It was 2.5 years later. We had a report here at September 26th or whatever, which was 9 months of operations. And when I saw that there, I raised the issue. Staff went the next day, called the state of Illinois. And thank goodness they caught it, because otherwise it'd have been another 6 months before we could implement it. We got it in by the end of September, so January 1st we could actually implement the tax. But we could have saw that a year plus ago. We missed almost 2 years worth of it. So we may have.
We'll walk through the timeline when we do that because
but I'm just focusing more. Not we can do the cannabis later, but just your reports. We really, I mean, I don't think you need I'm not even sure what you're looking to do with technology, a full-fledged audit. We just need quarter reports. I mean, it's after the fact anyways. Baker Tilly's already audited everything for at least the last few years, but it's just revenues anticipated, the expenditures estimated. I mean,
the process that my predecessor used to prepare the quarter reports took several days, 3 or 4 days each quarter of staff time. Okay. So that it's a tremendous amount of manual staff time. With the transition in my staff is simply not hiring more people, is someone has to know how to do it. And the person that knows how to do it had other responsibilities. So, like I said, the best we can do now is get the reports finished by the end of July. and we'll get caught up. And it's just unacceptable that in the long run that we need to spend several days with a manual process to complete those reports. It's just totally inefficient. So part of the budget request is going to be to either get the additional capabilities of OpenGov or find a different system so we can do these in like a couple hours rather than 3 days of manual adjustments using Excel and Access.
Okay, Member LaPlante.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Auditor White, you make reference to having to do things manually versus using technology. Can you please walk us through how your predecessor was able to conduct audits and in a timely fashion? And the second part of my question is, I hear what you're saying, that it's time consuming, it takes 3 days, but isn't that simply the job of the auditor?
Well, the staff member that knows how to do the quarterly reports. See, when I took office, the number 2 and number 3, 2 people left. I was left with one experienced person that knows how to do these. And that person had other obligations to do. And these things should have been done, but it's very manual and time consuming. And it was nothing that we probably should have gotten better technology sooner, but there's a lot of technology upgrades that are needed. At this point, all we can do is finish them and get it done by the end of July and move forward.
I'm sorry, can you please, though, answer the question of how was your predecessor able to complete quarterly audits?
By assigning a staff person to spend a very large number of days doing that and nothing else.
So you chose to not do that because you did. Can you explain? I just am interested in your decision-making process, please.
Well, it was just a matter of managing priorities of where people had time. And there was not really a conscious decision. It's just, it became a form of procrastination. It was a very difficult, time-consuming manual task. There were other tasks which seemed more pressing at the moment.
Okay, so it didn't take precedence, and it seems like perhaps it fell by the wayside? Is that an accurate
It definitely fell between the cracks. It definitely fell between the cracks because of other pressing matters that our office was addressing. It's a matter, it's the concept of triage.
Okay, if you were to, going forward, where does it fall in your triaging?
Well, right now it has to get finished. Right now it's a huge priority to get caught up. In terms of triage, it has to get caught up, and I'm responsible for seeing that it gets caught up. The reason it happened, the metaphor of triage applies, I think, very, very well. That we were addressing other crises, other issues, transition in staff, middle of COVID, inefficient technology, and it was something that was easy to push off because it was a difficult, painstaking task. And there were other pressing issues. Like I said, I'll come back. It was something where it was a matter of triage.
Thank you for answering my questions.
Okay, Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, Bill, I'm kind of lost for words. I bring up a coaching analogy. I had kids, when they were a catcher, they wouldn't catch the ball. And I said, you know, your main goal as catcher is to catch the ball. You know, catcher, catch the ball. You're the auditor. Your main job is to audit. I don't understand how you say you have other obligation when this is state mandated.
Well, the quarterly reports isn't really an audit. It's a compilation of documents. And yes, it should have been done. I'm not saying
it's your office. Yes. But here's the thing, it's only for a year. And now you're saying, well, now we have to do it manually and we're not going to get it to the end of July. It just seems like we're pushing this down the road. This isn't a priority. And I understand you have other people there, but can't you teach somebody, that one person teach somebody how to do it, teach you how to do it? I mean, again, you're our check and balance that we have. That's why you're there. You're the auditor. You're supposed to be checking incoming revenues, incoming expenditures. We talked about cannabis, but we also have video gaming now that's taking off. We have OTB that we know doesn't show up half the time. These are other revenue sources that people don't think about that during an audit could be caught on. And so now we've lost 3 years of eyes on things, almost 4 years of eyes on things that should have been done.
The one comment about that is that the quarterly reports are generated from information derived from the finance department. So, and that's, and I go back to the triage metaphor. There's no question now, this is at the top of the list to get done. No question about that at all.
Well, I mean, I hope we're gonna see it in July, because I thought we were told 2 weeks on one, 2 weeks on another. Now we have to show somebody
My
else the
recollection is, I
report.
said the end of July for the quarterly reports from the very beginning.
Okay.
Okay, Member Guston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. White, so I'm hearing you say that you now have somebody who's doing that work manually, correct?
Well, they're gonna set aside all the other things they could do and finish
Do
this.
we have somebody right now
Yes.
doing the manual work and they can get it done in 3 to 4 days, correct?
Well, it was 3 or 4 days per quarter. So
So you've got
the end of
catch-up
July will
time.
catch up. The plan is by the end of July, we'll be current.
Okay.
We'll
And
be-
then,
end of July, we'll be current.
I sit on the technology committee and it's chaired by member, so we've always talked about working with Anthony, our IT director here at the county, to kind of coordinate and work together and learn from each other and sit down and see if there's programs that might be applicable to your needs and vice versa, right? Have you done that?
Well, that's what, we're doing that in the context of our upcoming budget request in order to solve these problems going forward.
So I guess my question is, have you sat down with the director of technology, our technology, to kind of see if there's something out there that would be able to get done and accomplish what you want to get done for your department?
There's 3 or 4 different software solutions that could be working, and as part of our budget request, we'll be getting IT's approval on, getting IT's input on it. We haven't really looked at selecting a vendor yet. We're still working at finding a vendor.
I mean, I would recommend you lean on the experts and
It's
have
their
those
ERP people,
conversations.
right,
So
it's the
that,
ERP
so
people.
that whatever you're buying or getting, because there's
Oh, I'm
tons of
not buying it
programs
without
out
getting
there.
them saying it's okay. I'm not buying it unless
But he is very
Anthony says it's
skilled in
okay.
what he does, so, and we've
It
got
has to
great
coordinate,
assets, and I know you know that, but I just wanted to make sure that you're gonna do
Yeah,
that.
no, the software, absolutely. I would have to have IT say, yep, Bill, this is gonna work. I mean, I'm not gonna buy something unless,
Well, you can buy whatever you want, you're
Well,
in
I'm not going
charge.
to.
The buck stops at you.
Absolutely.
So, but they are here to help you, so
Well,
I
absolutely, and
hope
I'll be
you lean
leaning
on them.
on
Yeah,
I'll be
thank
leaning
you.
on them.
Okay, Member Cahill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm kind of really at a loss for words too, Bill. I'm really disappointed. I was an auditor for 10 years at Ernst & Young. You would never, ever see this in the business world. This would not happen. An internal auditor is really an essential part of the organization, the first line of defense, someone who brings forth to the management issues that they have uncovered during the year. It can be anywhere from fraud to discrepancies in revenue, things like that. We really need you. We need you to do your job. The taxpayers of DuPage County need you to do your job. And what I'm hearing is that the management of the office, you inefficient with staff. Okay, let's hire more staff. The chair is saying it's available, get more staff. I said before, and even in technology committee, what do you need? Get more technology. Get the job done. We need it done. The people of DuPage need it done. This is what you're elected to do, and frankly, there's no excuse, none whatsoever. Figure it out and get it done and manage the office in a way that you get these reports to us.
Okay.
I can't disagree.
Okay, the tall guy in the back row, or Member Eckhoff, one or the other?
It's all good-looking guy in the background.
I'm sorry.
I know, that's the problem. Jesus. All right. I'm here for the rest of the year to be abused. Well, thank you for coming in today. My only question was, you indicated that the report that you had regarding the county clerk's office had to be given to the county clerk to respond to?
Yes, the government auditing standards is called the Yellow Book, says that the report should not be released until the audited entity, the Office of the County Clerk, has an opportunity to review it. If they have written comments, they should be attached to the report.
That's the government audit standards?
Generally accepted government auditing standards, called the Yellow Book.
Because I thought we were gonna get that report today, so I'm surprised.
Well, I'm sorry that was a false impression.
I mean, you said that.
I can't release it until the county clerk has written the response.
Okay, but I thought they would, who told you that?
says right here in the book.
But you didn't tell us that 2 weeks ago, so
Well, I wasn't there
in
for
the
it,
last 2 weeks or 4 weeks, somebody told you that that's the rule?
Well, I read
Did the state's attorney tell us that that has to be done that way? So who told you?
It's right in here.
Well, why didn't you tell us that 4 weeks ago if that was right in there then, 4 weeks ago? Did the clerk tell you that you have to give that to them before you give it to
No.
us? Okay, well, because I'm lost, because I thought the deadline was today, and now it's not today again.
It's a projection of the date. Like I said, I don't like coming here every 2 weeks. I'll come back July 9th, I'll tell you where we're at.
Well, I
And
mean,
hope it's something then.
I'm not sure. I'm just saying that this seems to be kicked out over and over and over again. The state's attorney's not telling you you have to wait. Maybe the government audit standards, that's a principle or a guideline that you're supposed to follow, but I don't think there's a law that says you have to give it to the clerk. And I've got on my email, email from Mr. Johnson from June 20th with a bunch of questions. Is that what you're responding to?
No, I'm not responding to that. That email was prepared by the deputy clerk without having seen the report. The Office of the County Clerk, the written response of the Office of the County Clerk should be released simultaneously with my report. And they can't do that without reading the report first.
I know, so I'm a little surprised why he's not getting it. If that really has to be done, and I don't think the state's attorney's office is telling me that.
The state's attorney's not telling me that. No, it's government auditing standards. It's not a law.
I don't.
It's not a law.
Okay. Right, it's not the law, and I was told it'd be here today. So what I'm saying is if it was supposed to be here today to us, then why isn't it to the clerk's office today, so at least they can start responding the way you want them to?
You know, the statement is that, well,
I think it's a little bit confusing because we did receive a rather long, rambling response from the deputy clerk about this. That was evidently not the formal reply or to your audit. Is that correct?
And it can't be the formal reply because
Okay,
I didn't give it to him yet.
Okay.
He hasn't, but
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, we were supposed to get the report today. So if we can't get it today because he thinks the clerk has to see it first, then the clerk should get it today, and let's get going with whatever has to be done. Once the clerk responds?
Then I'll release the report with the clerk's response attached as an exhibit or an attachment.
Why can't that be done today? Why can't you give it to him today when you were supposed to give it to us today?
Well, is it possible, can we get it to them today?
We're working on getting it to the clerk. Yeah, there's a question of what exhibits I attach, but we'll get them very, very soon because I want this closed.
I want it done too.
Yes, I want
but
this
every
done.
time.
Okay, well, is there, just for clarification, is there anything holding up getting it to the clerk by end of business Friday?
Why do we have to wait?
I would expect so. I mean, as of right now.
Because it is finished, correct? Okay, so okay, then we would like to request that the clerk receives it by the end of business
And then
Friday.
once the clerk responds to you, do you have to reply to them?
No, not necessarily. I have the discretion to, but not the obligation. I can simply attach the reply to the report.
So how long does the clerk have to respond?
There's no specified time.
How long are you gonna give them?
Well,
How long are you
I
gonna
can
give
say, well, basically, I'll come back on July 9th, and either it's released by then, or I'll explain to you why not. But I can expect.
Okay, so let's say 7 days.
They don't have to reply.
Well, I know. That's what I'm saying.
So here, for clarification, they don't have to reply. I don't know if anybody would be shocked to think they might not. Will you then issue it after a specific amount of time?
Yes, if they decline to reply, I can say they declined to reply, and I'll issue it.
Okay, and is there a time, like they have 5 days, 7 days to reply, or is it an open-ended?
Not set in stone, but basically what I'm saying is that by July 9th, you'll either have the report or I will give you my reasons. So, but I foresee, I want this released. And if the clerk chooses not to reply, I'll release the report without the reply.
Yeah, that's why I'm suggesting you give them a deadline.
Okay,
And then
okay.
And they do have a deadline, because if they don't reply,
Okay,
I'm going to say
I think it's a valid concern of this chair and this board that the process could become a major circus again once you give it to them we will not get a reply. They will choose not to reply. So I think what we're asking you is, what is the time frame between you giving it to them and us waiting for them to not reply before you will bring it to us?
I would think a week would be reasonable.
Okay, okay,
And
a week.
I would also ask that the state's attorney give us an opinion as to whether or not this process has to even be what he's suggesting it is. Because
Okay.
I don't think it has to be. And then we're gonna go into another 2 weeks, then we're off for 2 weeks in July, and we'll be back here in August doing this.
Okay, Member Chaplin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, thank you, Otto Wright, for being here. In your report a couple years ago, you had mentioned that regardless, you know, if this was mailed or not, there's internal controls throughout the county departments that you had concerns with. So to me, you're saying you only are auditing the clerk's office? Are you not auditing the rest of the departments that had a play in this? Because that's not a very, I can tell you that's not a very thorough audit.
No, I think we're talking about apples and oranges here. So the audit is all the departments he's required to audit. I think the concern about the clerk is separate.
The scope of the audit before I release it, but the scope of the audit addresses a number of concerns.
Okay, so then do all the other departments have to also review the audit as well?
The clerk's audit?
No.
The other departments.
So have you audited the other, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking, so because you identified internal controls issues that we haven't received remedies on yet, but so.
Okay, actually, now that you mention that, I believe I should also give a copy to the Chief Administrative Officer at the same time, so that he would have an opportunity to reply, because he's in charge of all the departments. So
what I'm saying, is, did your.
Okay, when I deliver the report to the county clerk, I will also deliver a copy to the Chief Administrative Officer. So if any of the departments wishes to reply, they'll have the opportunity to. And have the same timeline.
But did you audit the other departments or just the clerks?
I really don't want to go into the contents of the audit before I release it.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Member Krajewski and then Member LaPlante.
Thank you, and I'll stay off the cannabis issue. I'll wait for you to bring that forward. But you did mention when you took, focus more on our quarterly reports we're supposed to get. You said when you took office, you lost your number 2 and your number 3, and now number 4 is doing it. I assumed you hired a number 2 and a number 3.
Oh, we hired, yeah. Who?
And can those people do these audits? I mean, you brought them on board, I assume, 3 years ago. They couldn't sit there, or did they have the qualifications to do that? Can they do these audits?
The question isn't, it's a question of understanding how the current ERP works. It's not just generic work. And
I mean, to pick up on Member Cahill, I mean, she had 10 years at E&Y, I was 8 years at Deloitte. I mean, this isn't hard. I mean, you bring a number 2, number 3 in to do those quarterly reports. They're not audits. To do those quarterly reports should be very, okay, a couple days ahead of time. It should be very easy. I don't even know. I'm concerned. Can the 2, 3, and 4 even do these audits? I mean, it's not that hard. I still can't understand why we don't have these and it's taken so long. I mean, I understand you may have not been a delay when you first got in because you lost the number 2 and 3, but assuming you replaced them, I mean, this isn't a hard thing for an accountant to do.
Okay. I think we've established that we're going to move on. We've pretty much established all these issues.
I'm not sure I've established that the office can even function like it's supposed to, that they have the qualifications. I don't know. And I'm concerned about that because that auditor, as Member Zay said, is extremely important to catch potential issues that are going on, internal controls. Member Chaplin's talking about multiple areas. I mean, that's what our auditor is supposed to do and come back. You can go out there and see all the ones back to 2013, and sometimes the auditor will find something and have them make changes to internal controls, but maybe we're not even doing that. I don't know. I have no confidence that we're even looking at other areas that may have issues with internal controls that we could establish if we're actually having not just our auditor, but the staff out there auditing. I mean, that's
understood. I think
concern.
I think that we've established great concern in the process. Okay, Member LaPlante, if it's something new and different, and then and also Member Rutledge after.
Thank you, Chair Conroy. I'm really confused. I don't know if what you're holding up is the completed audit or if it's just a rule book, but you just said that you do have the audit complete and all you have to do is hand it over to the clerk. I don't understand why it's not being done right now, today. Absolutely, today you said it is done. You just have to give it to the clerk. Can you please do that today? What would stop you from handing it in today since you just said it's completed?
The supporting exhibits have to be reviewed by another member of my office. But
So
this
it's
week is
not
fine.
completed then?
Well, my part's completed. But Friday, I'm perfectly fine with Friday.
Oh, but we're not complete, like, we're asking, as the board here, we are asking, because we asked for it 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and 2 weeks ago. So we're at 6 weeks of asking, and you just said it was finished. So finished to me means it's done, and you can now hand it in. This is very confusing to us, because we're hearing contradictory information, sometimes within the same sentence.
So I think we've established, and the auditor has agreed, by end of business Friday, it will be in the hands of the clerk, correct?
And the chief administrative officer.
Okay. Member Rutledge.
I'll be quick, Chair, thank you. So Baker Tilly does our audits every year, correct? And we approve those audits. So really, up through 2023, audits have been completed. So I guess my question is, in order for you to catch up, we're going to assume that Baker Tilly was correct in their auditing for the first couple of years that you were in your office, so that really the catch-up for you only needs to be the first and second quarter of this year. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. The quarterly reports. The quarterly reports are separate from the external audit that's done by Baker Tilly. The quarterly reports are not part of Baker Tilly's process, and they provided independent assurance that the financial statements are accurate, and they do not rely on the quarterly reports to reach that conclusion. They reach that conclusion on their own.
I guess
because
the point...
They have access to all the same information through other routes within the finance department. So basically, the quarterly reports are compilations of information that exists elsewhere within the county. It's not new information.
Understood, but I guess in the interest of getting caught up, I would think that your staff would be directed to do the 2 outstanding audits for this year, and then as time allows, go back through those others so that we can at least be up to date on the information
I'm told
that we're getting.
I'm told we can be caught up by the end of July and everything, but that's what I'm told. So I will hopefully that's what I hope will happen.
Thank you.
Okay, one more. Member Cahill, and then we're moving on.
One last point. So the external auditor comes in and gives us an opinion on the audited financial statements taken as a whole to make sure they are free from material error, okay? They look at everything on an overall basis, and they say that they're in compliance with governmental accounting auditing standards. However, the internal audit looks way into more minuscule, detailed items. Plus, the external auditor is not there, does not detect fraud. There's no fraud investigation. There's no even review of whether fraud even occurred or not. Not to say that there's any fraud that's happening here, but this is where our internal auditor comes in.
That's exactly 100% correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Auditor White. Appreciate you being here, and we're going to move on to new business. I believe Member Dessart had something.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've got 3 quick things to discuss. One is Sheriff Mendrick's office has increased patrols for the 4th of July holiday. It started on the 21st, and it goes through the 4th of July. So, don't drink and drive, do buckle up. And so I just applaud the Sheriff's office for their safety initiative in our county. Number 2, I also applaud Dr. Jorgensen. I gave him an email. Actually, I talked to him in person here, and I asked him to come to our District 5 meeting on Friday, and he readily agreed to come and speak about what he spoke to us about, the drug deaths. So thank you to Dr. Jorgensen. And then, of course, Cheryl Marquet. As the legislative chair, I worked with her very, very closely, and I gotta say, her institutional knowledge, the way she explained issues in a way that I could understand them, and the fact that she would email me or call me at night on weekends, holidays. I remember a couple of holidays that she contacted me. You are going to be so missed, and I don't even know what to do without you, but thank you for your service to our county.
Okay, Member Guston.
Member Guston or Austin?
I said Guston.
Did you? Okay, thanks. Now you've said it twice. Yes, I just have one new thing. There was the sexual assault at the county health department, and I'm wondering if there's going to be a review of the protocol for safety and maybe evaluate the current measures that are taken and then suggestions to make sure that assaults and things are eliminated at the health department
Okay,
in the future.
Lisa? Our state's attorney will reply.
And I know you can't talk about the case. I'm just talking about safety protocols.
Right, I definitely don't want to talk about the case, but
Absolutely.
they follow the procedures of the Joint Commission, and so there's a report that they have to complete after this alleged incident. So there's a report that they'll complete, there's a phone call that's already been scheduled, so they're going through that process now.
Okay, and then will there be a review of safety features?
The
and
report is all
protocol?
encompassing.
Okay,
So it will talk about staffing, procedures, all of that.
okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Member Chaplin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I heard from a constituent and who used to be a former employee here. And 30 years ago, on June 23rd, two employees, Tony Harlan and Mary Perfada, they saved another employee's life in the parking garage by using CPR. And these ladies were administering CPR for quite a while until the paramedics got there. The paramedics got there. They were working on this gentleman for 30 minutes before they transported him to the hospital. So they ended up getting him, he's okay now. But there's a great reenactment of this on Rescue 911, and so I have the link if anybody would want to see it. But it just goes to show how our employees stopped to take care of another employee, saved their life. They're lifelong friends now. They've invited him to, this gentleman's invited both these ladies to his kids' weddings, graduations, things like that. So, but my also point was, we should all, and it's a reminder for me too, to get CPR certified, because really we could all save somebody's life if we have that skill. So that's all, some good news.
Yes, Member Schwarzy, can you get that training on the calendar, please? Okay, anybody else? Okay, well, I'm informed we do not have matters before us requiring an executive session, so I'll take a motion. All in favor? This meeting is adjourned till Tuesday, July 9th, 2024 at 10 a.m.